The headlining feature of iOS 27 is the new Siri AI and Apple Intelligence features. In my last video, I went over what Apple announced at WWDC, but I did not have access to the new Siri yet and I was put on waitlist for it. But good news, I finally got access. So in today's video, it's going to be a full hands-on part 1 of the iOS 27 must-try features: the new Siri, Apple Intelligence, photo editing, writing tools, and AI in shortcuts. I'll test them out one by one and show you if Apple finally delivered on a 2-year promise. There are some surprises too, so let's get started. Let's start with the most awaited feature, the new Siri. Now when I invoke Siri, you will see this brand new animation around the dynamic island. It still kind of reminds me of the old Siri icon, but now it has the Apple's new liquid glass style. One big change I noticed on iOS 26 or before, if you swipe from top on the right third of the screen, you open Control Center, and if you swipe from top anywhere else, you open Notifications. But in iOS 27, the vertical screen is divided into 3 equal sections. If you swipe down from top from the first third of your screen, you open the Notification Center. If you swipe from the middle third, you can now instantly open Siri, the part where the dynamic island is. And if you swipe on the right third, then you open the Control Center. I like that Siri is much more easily accessible than the previous version where you double tap the home button. So now let's test it. I have both iOS 26 and iOS 27 Siri for comparison. I'll ask, when does the FIFA World Cup start? Now both gives expected answer, but new Siri's answer is much more preferable. The big change comes when I ask a follow-up question. What dates are they playing in Seattle? The new Siri is immediately able to get the context and answer correctly, while the old Siri goes to ChatGPT. I tried multiple follow-up questions and the new Siri works amazingly well. The best part, I can combine general knowledge with personal context too. Let me ask, what does my schedule look like on those days? It now understands the follow-up questions, connects the dates, and pulls in my calendar events using personal context. Let me try something else. What's the restaurant Gautam suggested for dinner this Saturday? And now Siri pulls that information from my message and shows it right here. From here, I can get directions directly, or I can even expand this to open a full Siri app, just like ChatGPT app that has all my previous conversations. We will get into the new Siri app in a moment now. Now let's test on-screen awareness. I have this message open where someone sent me the flight details. Instead of copying the date, time, and airport manually, I'll just ask Siri, add this to my calendar. And because Siri can understand what's on my screen, it knows what this means and turns it into a calendar event. Here's another example. Gautam sent me a restaurant name in messages, and instead of copying it into the maps and getting directions, I can just say, get me directions to this place. Siri understands the restaurant I'm looking at and it opens directions directly. And of course, on-screen awareness works beyond just messages. For example, if I'm looking at a place on my screen, I can ask Siri, what place is this? And then follow up with more specific questions like, find pictures of me taken at this place, and it pulls the pictures right here. Or if I'm online shopping, find a similar outfit for me under $50. So instead of me taking a screenshot, copying a place name, opening another app, and searching manually, Siri understands what I'm already looking at and pulls up the relevant answers and links for me. This is a huge leap from where Siri was a year ago. In fact, it's more useful than other AI apps like ChatGPT. You see, Siri is integrated deeply into my iPhone. I don't even need to copy text or screenshot or share context with ChatGPT anymore. I can just directly invoke Siri and it knows everything about my messages, my emails, what's on my screen, everything. This is a huge advantage compared to ChatGPT and it removes a lot of friction. And here's another useful change. Before, if Siri answered something and the pop-up disappeared, that was basically it. You had to ask again if you had a doubt. But now, every time you ask Siri something, it gets saved as a new chat inside the Siri app. So later, you can just open the Siri app, revisit that answer, and continue from where you left off. Now let's explore the new Siri app. This is the new Siri logo, and when I open the app, it takes me to the home page where all my Siri conversations are listed. If I tap this new chat icon, it starts a fresh conversation. But if you don't want the app to open to your conversation history every time, you can just change that in settings. Go to settings, scroll down to Siri, tap app, and here you will see an option called opens to. You can choose between conversations or new conversation. And while you're here, you can also choose how long Siri keeps your conversations, 30 days, 1 year, or forever. Now back to Siri app. At the bottom left, there is a search option, so you can quickly find an older conversation. On the top right, you can switch between list view and grid view. I like it to leave it as a list view because that looks cleaner. If you long press on a chat, you can pin it, rename it, or delete it. You can also swipe left on a conversation to quickly pin or delete it. Inside a new chat, you can either type or start a voice chat. You also get the option to upload a photo or a file into the conversation. When you receive an answer from Siri, you can swipe the response to the left to find more options. Copy the response or enable audio so Siri can narrate the answer or share the response with someone. Overall, it's pretty basic right now, but it does the main job. The only thing I noticed is that there is no temporary chat option yet. There's another place where you will see Siri now. When you open the camera app, you will see Siri in the carousel. Tap on it, point your camera at any product and take a picture. Siri will analyze what's in front of you and it'll give you just general information about that product. Basically, this is visual intelligence feature, and if you have a specific question, you can tap this icon and ask more about what you're looking at. Or if you want to find something similar online, you can just tap this option and Siri will do a quick Google search. I was not a very big fan of writing tools in Apple Intelligence before, but Apple has made some big changes and I'm actually finding it really useful. Siri can now be found inside a text field in messages, notes, reminders, calendar, basically anywhere you type. For example, let's open messages and draft a rough invite. Now I can select the message, tap the Siri icon and describe the change I want. So I'll type something like, rewrite this invite to be more welcoming and warm. And Siri instantly replaces my rough text with a clear version. You can also start from scratch. Just tap on a blank text field, tap the Siri icon and ask it to phrase a message for you. Like draft a message saying I will be late for dinner party and expect me to arrive by 7 p.m. in a professional tone. It drafts a very neat message without me trying anything out. Feels similar to Rambler feature that Android introduced recently. And this is not just for writing nice messages. You can also use it for replies. So if your friend sends you something and you don't know how to reply, you can ask Siri to write a good comeback or a better response. The same thing works inside the Notes app too. So instead of opening a separate AI app, copying your text, rewriting it and pasting it back, Siri is now built right into the places where you're already writing. One more new Siri feature that is expected to come is tweaking Siri's voice space and expression. This isn't working very well in developer beta, so I couldn't really test it out. But know this feature is a part of more powerful Siri model, which means if you don't have an iPhone 17 Pro or iPhone Air, you won't be getting this feature anyway. Not even the iPhone 17. The rest of the Siri features will come to any Apple Intelligence enabled iPhone though.
Right voice for you. I'll practice some things I like to say.
Now in the Photos app, there are 3 new editing options under Tools: Cleanup, Extend, and Reframe. Cleanup was already there before, but honestly, it never felt that useful for me because it didn't always do a great job. It could remove simple objects, but it didn't really regenerate the missing part properly. But with iOS 27, I am actually amazed at how much better Cleanup has gotten. For example, in this photo, I am going to remove my sunglasses. And look at this. It doesn't just erase my sunglasses, it actually regenerates my eyes, even though my eyes weren't visible in the original photo. It's not just removing something from the image anymore, it's trying to intelligently rebuild what should be there. Now let's try Extend. I can pinch to zoom out, adjust the frame, and then tap Extend. And look at this. It fills in the missing parts of the image and makes the photo look wider than it originally was. What's impressive is that it doesn't look obviously AI generated. At least in this example, it blends in really well with the original photo. I really like it. Now let's try Reframe. So with Reframe, you can take any image on your iPhone and change the way it's framed. If you look at a photo and feel like it would have looked better from a slightly different angle or perspective, this is where Reframe becomes useful. It basically gives you another version of the same photo without you having to reshoot it. But like I said in my initial impression video, this is one feature that I expect to least use, but I will try to keep an open mind, use it more, and give you updates if my opinions change. I've said this before and I'll say it again, Apple Shortcuts app is the best app in Apple ecosystem. It's super powerful and the most underused app in my opinion, mainly because understanding and creating shortcuts have felt much more complex for a regular user. But now you don't really have to build everything manually. You can create a shortcut just by describing what you want. So open the Shortcuts app, tap New Shortcut and start describing it. For example, I'll say make a shortcut that asks me to enter a bill amount, then calculate 15% of the amount as the tip, then add the tip to the bill amount. Show me the tip amount and the final total. This is like creating a mini app, right? Now, just by describing, Apple will auto-create the shortcut based on my needs. Now, when I run this shortcut and enter my bill amount, that's it. It shows me the 15% tip and the final total. And if this is something that I use often, I can add it to my home screen for quick access. You can create simple shortcuts like this for anything. Shortcuts have always been a powerful app, but this makes it so much easier to actually use it. If you want me to make a dedicated video on useful shortcuts that you can create with this, let me know in the comments. So that was part 1 of iOS 27 must-try features, mostly focused on new Siri and Apple Intelligence. In part 2, I'll go through the other iOS 27 features that are not necessarily AI related, but still very useful. Big updates to Safari app, the smaller hidden changes, app updates, customization options, and the features that you might actually use every day. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe. And also let me know in the comments which feature you're most excited about. I'll catch you in the next one. This is Sanjana. Bye-bye.